friends, Kit Kat Wombat and Jose here today. We just got back from our first trip to Disneyland. Woo! We've been to Disney World together, but this was our first time to Disneyland together, and it was my first time to Disneyland overall. And so we wanted to talk to you guys kind of about what our experiences were and just have a little chat. So I'll start with like a quick little summary of what our trip looked like. So we flew over on a Friday afternoon, had dinner at Napa Rose and the Grand Californian. We went to Disneyland on Saturday morning and spent the whole day in Disneyland that first day.
And broke our step count.
And definitely broke our step count for records for all of eternity. And then on Sunday, we spent most of the day in DCA and then ended the night back in Disneyland. And then on our Monday, we spent most of the day again in Disneyland, starting out in Galaxy's Edge. Spent a little bit of the afternoon in DCA and then finished the night up at Disneyland before coming back home the following Tuesday. So I wanted to start out with what our favorite ride was. I think my favorite ride in DCA was Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. How about you?
I'd also say that my favorite ride in DCA was Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. It's the only ride that we rode 3 times. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Max Pass. But I'm not that big a fan of Guardians of the Galaxy. I haven't actually seen those 2 movies yet, but I think the whole thing was pretty well done, and it was definitely some of the biggest thrills that you can find in DCA, and yeah, it was just a fun time.
Yeah. Okay, I'm having trouble picking just one for my favorite ride in Disneyland, but the one that keeps coming to my mind right now is Space Mountain. I actually think that the Space Mountain at Disneyland is way better than the one in Disney World and Magic Kingdom because it was totally smooth. I feel like the drops were more fun because I didn't feel like I was like hurting myself every turn the car took, and it was just a much easier ride, which made it a lot more fun. How about you?
Well, we did get to ride Rise of the Resistance and Smuggler's Run. But I feel like as first time going to Disneyland, I think I'd have to put that my favorite ride in Disneyland was actually Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah.
It was just, way longer than the one in Magic Kingdom, and it was just, was a lot more fun, had a lot more, like, scenery, and it was just a very pleasant experience, and I definitely enjoyed it, and I wish that's the version that was in Magic Kingdom.
How about the ride that you were the most disappointed in?
Oh.
Or your worst ride?
I would have to say Matterhorn, because...
You took mine.
Oh, well, we can both say the same one. So why is the Matterhorn your most disappointed one?
I guess it seemed like it could have used an update. Like, I can see why that was a really innovative, fun ride when it first opened, but I can also see why there was never a huge draw to bring it over to Walt Disney World now that we rode it, because it was definitely not as fast-paced as I was hoping it would be, and, like, it doesn't have, like, any, like, iconic, memorable scenes. Like, it was very anticlimactic, I felt like, and I really think that if they just put a little bit of like thought into it and a little bit of money into it, they could keep the same track and everything, and maybe just like add a little bit more ambiance and make it a little bit more fun. So I was a little disappointed in the bobsleds.
Yeah, the Matterhorn is supposed to be, like a thrill ride, but we had like no interest in rewriting it.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather rewrite like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride or Alice's Adventure than the Matterhorn.
Yeah. Now, we ate a lot of food. Mm-hmm. What was your favorite meal, like full-fledged sit-down meal or quick service meal out of all of the time we were there?
Well, in terms of like fancy meals, we had
three, technically three fancy meals,
Yeah, we
although
had,
I would say one of them was not fancy.
we had Napa Rose on
And the
Friday.
Grand Californian, yes.
On Saturday, we had Blue Bayou at Disneyland. And on Sunday, we had a Lamplight Lounge at DCA. And my favorite meal, to say, it's kind of a hard one because, like, I think Napa Rose was, like, by far the best food I think we had all trip.
Yeah.
Like, it tasted better. It was, far from, it was, kind of separated from the park, so it was really enjoyable. So it was by far the best food, but I think I enjoyed where we were in the Lamplight Lounge, even though they took a very long time.
Gosh, yeah.
But I think I enjoyed, it was nighttime. Got to spend a lot of time looking at the Pixar Pal around.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like a nice time. So I guess I would say the Lamplight Lounge.
Nice. My favorite meal had to be Napa Rose, just because the caliber of the food there was just like so much higher than everywhere else that we ate. Blue Bayou, I liked the mint julep, and I loved the atmosphere, but my food was actually kind of bad there. I know Jose liked what he got there, but I didn't like my food there at all. So Napa Rose was like, it was just a nice sit down restaurant, and it didn't feel like Disney really. Which isn't a bad thing, but it was our best meal that we had. So I really enjoyed the food, and the service was exceptional, of course. But
yeah, and we were like talking that it was like better than, like, we couldn't remember a meal that we had
at Walt Disney World
that was better than that.
I've never eaten anything that good at a Disney park ever in my life.
So yeah, that was definitely really really good, and I think it was a pretty good way to
start out the trip. What about your favorite snack?
Well, I mean, I like Mickey's Deluxe Premium Bar. Every single time it tastes the exact same. Churros were good. Yeah, just wish they always had chocolate sauce.
Yeah, chocolate sauce makes everything better.
Yeah, you're right. So,
do you have any difference between the churros we got in Magic Kingdom, or not Magic Kingdom, the churros we got near Haunted Mansion and the churro you got at Senor Buzz's?
I think, I guess the Senor Buzz thing kind of enhanced
the experience.
Yeah, I kept the wrapper.
Aww. My favorite snack was, I don't remember what it was called, but I got a smoothie from Schmoozie's that had like little Oreo Mickey ears, and it was a pretty basic milkshake. It might have been like a cookies and creams milkshake, but the fact that it was like, looked like Mickey Mouse made it so much better. And that was really my like big treat yourself moment, food wise or snack wise, for the whole trip. And so that was a lot of fun to have that little milkshake. What was your favorite show?
Oh, this is easy. So, Fantasmic, mostly because we got to see so much of Rapunzel in it. In the Hollywood Studios one, does she show up that much?
I think so. I think they've got more characters in the Hollywood Studio one, and then maybe also in Disneyland when they actually have the riverboat running. But because the riverboat was under refurbishment, the characters that would usually go on it and like go around the rivers of America right up close, they were all like banished to Tom Sawyer Island, so you can't really see them up close.
Yeah. But I think Fantasmic was super cool.
So my favorite show, we didn't actually see all of it. It was just kind of a spur of the moment thing. Our last night in Disneyland, we were walking by the castle, and I noticed that the little like show area right next to the castle, I saw out of the corner of my eye, I saw some blonde hair and a purple dress, and I was like, Rapunzel. And they were doing a little like storyteller reenactment of Tangled, and we managed to sneak in for the most of their little retelling of that. And so that was my favorite moment, not only because it was Tangled, but also because it was it wasn't planned, it was a spur of the moment, like random thing. And so I really liked seeing that little like show, and it was very tongue-in-cheek and adorable. So
yeah,
I liked that a lot.
I think show-wise, it's one that I think Disneyland kind of like, not gonna say like a little bit disappointed At least in terms of like for the main ones being like the fireworks show
Right.
on Disneyland with the projections. Mickey's Mix It Magic,
Oh my gosh.
or Mix Magic, I think is Disney, or yeah, Mickey's Mix Magic.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, so I love the new Mickey styles, but like the projection show just like sucked. Like I mean, it was projected. But
Yeah, it just doesn't have any emotion. Like if you've seen Happily Ever After, you know like how emotional that song is, that show is, because like the perfect timing of the colors on the castle with the music and the fireworks is just perfectly timed to like pull on your heartstrings. It like makes me cry every single time. This one was like very poppy. It was very short. I understand they can't do the fireworks a lot of the times either because fire risks and everything. But because they can't do the fireworks every day, they really should do something to make the projection show better. Like, I know we didn't realize that they would project stuff on the main street either. So we were up in the hub and we didn't see all of the main street projections. But I'm not sure that would have added much to it because it was the music choice that they used. And it was just like, okay, let's party rather than like an emotional journey.
World of Color, which is the other big show in DCA. So I enjoyed that more than
Yeah.
Mix Magic. It was. I mean, it was better than Mixed Magic, but still, I don't think it is as emotional as like you mentioned,
Fantasmic or Happily Ever After.
Even like Wishes way back when it was a thing, or the Epcot shows, or. And one, I guess, side note is that we went during Lunar New Year, so we did get to see some. There was a Lunar New Year like parade.
Yeah, which we didn't sit down and watch, but we saw from afar.
Yeah, and that was kind of like for it being have a window of a few weeks. It was kind of neat, and yeah, and there was a special 5 minute thing in the World of Color before World of Color started with for Lunar New Year with the Journey of the Red Lantern.
That was sweet.
Yeah, it was sweet. It was definitely like a nice bonus.
Yeah. All right. So now I wanted to talk about like the things that we think are the most different between Disneyland and Disney World. And something that I kind of realized, and I don't know if it was just my imagination, but I feel like we didn't quite get the same level of like guest services like as we would or like the cast interactions, at least with my experience, weren't as magical as they have been in Walt Disney World. I felt like there was a lot of people that just assumed we knew what we were doing and like assumed we knew how to do stuff instead of offering to help. Things like scanning our phone for a fast pass the first time that we had to do it. Like it took them a while to like offer to help. And
But it's stuff that in Walt Disney World or Magic Kingdom and stuff, because you have the underground system beneath the park, you can it's easier, but you can kind of hide a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. But here it's all kind of in the open. So I enjoyed how close DCA and Disneyland and Downtown Disney were to each other. It was really neat to have like literally everything in the same place, but it's also like you never lose sight that you're in the middle of like a big city, and that's something that in Disney World it's super easy to kind of like just like disconnect for a few days and just you take the bus or the Skyliner. It takes you a little longer to go from one place to another, but you're still pretty far away from
the real world.
yeah, from the city, and it was also like a different it was nice seeing a lot of the classical stuff, but but Walt Disney World definitely feels like it's a step farther in terms of technology.
Yeah, well, and recognizing that it was made later and all of that. But like we've had enough. It's been over 60 years. They have had enough time to update things that can be updated.
But yeah, it was pretty. So I'd say I definitely enjoyed Disneyland, but I think that Walt Disney World still offers kind of like
Yeah.
I mean, Disneyland offers something that Walt Disney World can't offer, but I still think I prefer, the Orlando side.
Yeah. And like we've talked about, we're definitely going to go again. And I think we're both interested in doing like the Walk in Walt's Footsteps tour. And maybe that'll give us like a little bit better like perspective on the history and everything. And maybe it was just the first time going, trying to figure things out. Process that kind of took away from it. But like overall, we still had a really awesome time. And I wouldn't trade that for the world.
I say that my favorite moment was probably I really enjoyed meeting Rapunzel and Flynn, so that was a lot of fun, and we were able to take some pretty neat pictures with Rapunzel and Flynn. So yeah, I think that was my favorite moment.
Yeah, that's honestly, it was probably my favorite moment as well. But I do have to shout out to the other characters that we met because we did meet Elsa twice because it was just Elsa the first time we tried, but we wanted to try to meet everybody else. So we came back the next day and we met Elsa and Anna, and surprise, we met Olaf too. So that was also really fun to meet them all. We also got some really cute pictures with them as well. But yeah, overall, a really, really fun trip to Disneyland and DCA. I hope you guys enjoyed us talking about all the fun we had, and hopefully gave you guys a little bit of inspiration to have your own adventure. And I can't wait to talk to you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching.